Google has officially launched the December 2025 core update, and I'm going to show you what I'm seeing. So first things first, I want to show you Grokkapedia, okay? Because Grokkapedia is a very, very unique SEO case study. So take a look at this. We're going to go ahead and look at their overall performance here. And so one thing I want to bring your attention to, if we zoom in here, is we can see that the overall growth of three core metrics that really make a huge difference in the game here. So take a look at this. All right. So I want to show you, we're just looking at organic pages. Okay. So these are the amount of pages that Grokkapedia is publishing and that are being crawled and being pushed into the index, in Google's index. And this is one of the most important things you can do to improve your SEO performance and improve your AI search visibility as well, because the number one job that your website has is to grow your organic keyword profile. And the only way to grow your organic keyword profile is to publish more content, publish more pages within your field of expertise, and try to capture as many topics as you possibly can. So this is what you want to see, but you don't just want to do that one time. You want to do that consistently over time. That is how you grow that profile. But here's the thing. If you just do this, you will not see the performance you're hoping to see, because you also need to support these organic pages with referring domains or backlinks. Okay. So in a perfect SEO campaign, this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see organic pages growing and referring domains growing at the same speed. You want to see them going in parallel together, because that is like the ultimate formula for driving SEO performance. And we can see the proof is in the pudding here, okay? And then we'll go ahead and look at the traffic, and you can see how these things are going together, okay? This is not a coincidence. I've seen this happen hundreds and hundreds of times. I've been involved in campaigns where we've done exactly this, and this actually works, okay? Is it easy? Definitely not, but this is the way to really do it. And you can see, even in a short amount of time, let's say 3 months, look at the performance gains that they're having, and you can see just through consistency. So I suspect over time, this site in particular, it will plateau, it will stabilize, but I don't think that it's going to drop. I don't think they're going to get penalized for all the AI content that they're using. And going back to kind of the core thesis of this particular project that they launched, everything on this website is AI generated. Okay. That's what makes it really unique. And so anyone that says AI content doesn't work, well, that's not exactly going to be super accurate, because we've got basically the biggest AI content case study we've ever seen here going on right now. Not only is it AI written content, but it's actually, I hate to say this, it's basically stolen content from Wikipedia. So they just took Wikipedia's content, then had Grok rewrite it and then publish. And now people can come in here and edit it just like Wikipedia. But this is like the ultimate AI, content study here. And so one very important key point here is, if you're producing AI content, by the way, AI content works. This has been proven. I've proven it on my channel. I've proven it over the last couple of years. I still have content ranking that I created with Jasper. So that was like GPT-3. I still have stuff that's ranking from that. Okay. So it works, but there's one key nuance to ensure that it sticks. Okay. So what happens is, when you use AI driven content, a lot of sites, you can see that initial lift by increasing publishing production and just general volume. But the problem is, if you don't support it with the backlinks and you just have a lot of content being produced, but you don't have any external signals or backlinks coming in, you will get wrecked. Okay. So you have to have the backlinks coming in. In fact, you might be better off focusing purely on just getting backlinks initially. Just focus your effort on getting backlinks initially, then start to increase the publishing velocity, because links are the number one trust signal. Okay. So you really want to make sure that you have that nice foundation. In fact, even with rankability.com, which is our site, which we're, starting to do some SEO on, you can see, like, we only basically focused on link acquisition for a long time. And you can see the organic pages are starting to grow now, but you can see for a long time, it was basically just a lot of links, right? Just focusing on link acquisition, because we knew that that's going to be the stabilizing force for the campaign, right? That is the key, is actually stabilizing with the backlink profile. And we'll need to keep growing this over time, obviously, but we got a big lift because we did a redirect. But this is the most important thing, is growing that site authority. And what we're going to see here based on this update is This is the number one variable for decreasing volatility and making sure that you don't get hit when there's a core update. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We can see in SEMrush, there definitely was some volatility here, a couple days after the update started, but it's basically stabilized. This has not been some huge update that's completely, changed the whole dynamic of the SERPs. That's not the case at all. Okay. And so let's look at this. So we're going to look at a few kind of keywords here. Number one, make money online. I want to show you a couple things about this. Number one is in this right-hand column, you can see there's domain score. This is simply a measure of how strong the backlink profile is. Okay. It uses a very similar formula to PageRank, which Google still uses, by the way. They just don't talk about it. Okay. So this is kind of a model of that. Now, what we can see here, if we look on this one, we can see very, very strong websites. Okay. So red means strong, means dangerous. Don't go after it because you're going to need a lot of links to rank. Okay. So very strong websites continue to rank. Okay. That is no surprise here. Go over here. Best creatine gummies. Once again, very strong websites are ranking very well. Now we're going to go to best coffee makers 2025. Shocking. Super strong websites continue to rank very well. Then we go to best CRM for real estate, which is in the SaaS industry. Once again, strong websites. Okay. So this starts to change when you get into the local level because generally local businesses do not have incredibly powerful websites. But even then, when we look at this particular vertical, these are still pretty strong websites for the local level. Okay. Because when you look at most local queries, you're usually going to see stuff like this, like a 98 domain score, like really, really weak stuff. But even in this case, the strongest websites are the ones that stick around, are the ones that survive these core updates. Okay. And then same thing here for best headphones, all strong websites. So this is, if you want to think of if you could just narrow this down, of course, there's so many ranking variables, but it's better to focus on what are the things that really move the needle? What are the things that are going to help us stabilize during these updates and ultimately help us, not just avoid getting hit, but also help us grow. Okay. And so the number one thing that you can focus on is what you do off of your website. And this is even more important now because when we look at, a site like Grokkapedia, for example, they wouldn't be able to have this type of performance if they didn't have these external signals. Okay. And we can see link profile growing aggressively. All this here is what is driving the most performance. If they didn't have this, it wouldn't matter. So Grokkapedia obviously has an advantage because they can get links from X and obviously tons of PR through Elon Musk and all these advantages that they have to do this. Most of us could never dream of doing this. Okay. Out of the gate. But it proves the concept that offsite is the key to success. And it's not just the key to success in traditional search, as we can see here, we can see the performance there, but it's also the key to success in AI. Okay. We can see how much visibility now Grokkapedia is showing in these AI platforms. They didn't do some sort of magic tricks to get into AI. What they did is they did really well in traditional search. And now they're getting picked up as a core source of retrieval in these AI platforms. Okay. That's how it works. Okay. And so, yes, there are things that you can do to measure things differently inside of these AI platforms. Yes, there are some unique variables, but overall, just doing really good SEO is kind of the best thing that you can do. But it's not just doing good SEO on your site. It's also about what you do off of your website. Focus on getting, and Grokkapedia doesn't have a product, but if you're a business selling a product or a service, number one thing is drive as many reviews as you possibly can on the platforms that matter. Number two, get backlinks on relevant websites. If you're a local business, focus on getting links from local entities. So if you're in Los Angeles, get links from Los Angeles-based entities, get links from other lawyers and other legal websites. Focus on relevant stuff. Okay, do that. Then number three, focus on getting brand mentions. You want to be appearing on those listicles that show up on these platforms. So if we look up something, I'll just show you real quickly. We'll go into ChatGPT and we'll run incognito and we'll say something like, who are the best personal injury lawyers. We'll do something more natural in Los Angeles right now. Okay, so we'll run this query, and this is what you should be doing. You should always be running these queries across ChatGPT and the AI answer-based platforms. And what I will do is when I run this, naturally, when you put right now, it's almost always going to use retrieval. Okay. Like 9 times out of 10, it's going to use retrieval. It's not just going to pull from the static corpus anymore. It rarely does that now. And we can see what's going on here. It's searching through the web. Really what it's doing is it's searching. It's using search. That's really what it's doing. It's going through that query fan out process. And this is just naturally the way that it works now. It basically just is search as a proxy for it being able to answer questions well. So as it goes through this process, what's going to happen is all of these little citations that are popping up here, these are the citations that we want to be extracting. Okay. And not because we want to rank in these citations. In fact, ranking in the citations is just a means to an end. It's not something that actually produces any positive outcomes because no one is clicking on these. I'm only seeing these because I know that I can click on this and, I'm a geeky SEO person. I can look at this stuff. But for the average person, they're not here geeking out and looking into the little details of how this all works. Okay. The average person is just going to say, okay, here's my answer. Boom, I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to reach out to 3 lawyers now that ChatGPT told me these are the best. Okay. So we can see what's going on here. And now we're at 1 minute of thought, quote unquote thought. And now what we can see here is we've got actual brands popping up. Okay. Now what you want to do is we want to try to find the most commonly used platforms inside the citations. Okay. So we can see we've got all, and obviously we want to be tracking this as well. And this is obviously what we're launching here in January for Rankability is AI search tracking. We'll be able to track this all for you super easily. But what you're going to see here is you go in here into the sources, and I want to see what are the types of sites that are popping up consistently. So basically what we'll do is we'll run queries like this, all kinds of different queries, and end up with like 500 to 1,000 citations in a particular campaign we're going after. Okay. So I'd go over here, then I'd just go to my tool and I would export the citations like this. Okay. So you can see 129 citations. I copy those over. And then what I would do is I start to see what are the commonalities. And once you've exported 500 to 1,000, you're going to have a good idea of the types of sites that tend to show up the most in that vertical. Okay. So what we're looking at here is we can see there's a lot of actual like law firms popping up, which once again proves that focusing on SEO on your own website is really, really important, especially on the local level. We see a lot of the local businesses tend to be used in retrieval quite a bit. That seems to be quite the case on the local. But then we see best law firms and super lawyers, best lawyers, and we see some additional local business. We see Instagram. Weirdly, why is Instagram there? But we can go ahead and focus on Instagram as well, I suppose. We see chambers.com and so on and so forth. So we're seeing all of these third-party opportunities that we need to be present on. And so the AI is telling us that it's using this in retrieval. It does not mean that it uses everything it gathers in retrieval, but what it does mean is that we know at least the sources that it's going to, we know the sources that it's extracting from. And so if we know that, we have to be there. It's that simple. So you go and you build a profile on, best law firms. You optimize that profile, of course, using Rankability. You should just write the actual description inside of the optimizer like this for the specific keyword you want to go after. Use these relevant keywords, write that description, then put the description on that profile. Okay. So that means you actually have an optimized description and profile on that platform, and then repeat that across all the most important platforms. Okay. And that's all you have to do. Just continually do it. And then of course, when you're thinking about driving reviews, always focus on Google first, drive reviews on your Google business profile. But then secondly, start to focus on these other third-party platforms because ChatGPT does not use the Google business profiles. It uses these other directories. Okay. So I hope that helps, and good luck out there.